Neeko Neeko needs a buff, and here's why. I'm Doglightning, a challenger Neeko OTP, and here's my opinions on why Neeko is not succeeding. In this video, we'll start by going through some statistics, the Season 11 item changes, and what I think Neeko needs to get back into the meta. So, looking at some simple data source from League of Graphs, we can see that in the past year since Season 11 started in January 2021, Neeko's win rate has been on a downward trajectory, and currently she has a negative win rate in all positions. Considering the fact that Neeko is a low-range mage who excels into dive comps, it's very alarming that she did not succeed in all of Season 11. At the very end, the meta was Bruisers tops with Assassins mid, and Neeko was still underperforming. The fact that Neeko couldn't perform in a dive meta that was suited for her is very alarming and makes me believe she definitely needs some sort of a change. So the question is, why is Neeko not working? Well, personally, I believe there's two big reasons. One is that the item reworks just didn't favor her last year, and two, she just needs a few quality of life changes to her kit. That's right, I'm not asking Riot to give her more damage because she has enough of that. I don't want her to be brokenly OP, I just want her to be playable. So to simply put with the items, there are just too many defensive ones right now. Like there's Shield Bow plus Wit's End keeping ADC's Duelist alive, Gale Force to dodge her combo, Zhonya's Shattered Queen, Sterak's Gore Drinker, Divine Thunder, QSS, the list just goes on. Simply put, Neeko is a champ who needs to go in, all in, have enough damage to kill, or she's going to get turned around and bursted back. So on top of this, Neeko's best builds were nerfed or removed. So not only is there too many defensives, but her main builds were also just gutted at the same time. Rocket Belt got more expensive with a worse build path, and Glacial has just been completely removed. Her GLP build, well, with all these defenses being out of the game and Neeko's best builds being nerfed, it's not hard to see why she struggled all last season. I'm not even saying the new items are bad for her, by the way. The new Everfrost is actually really good on her, just not great for making picks. And Rocket Belt, while more expensive, is still a decent item on her, but neither of them are enough to kill through the defensive in the game right now. That being said, I don't think the items need to be changed for Neeko to be good, because changing champions or items for one champion is just not realistic. But I do think it means Neeko herself might need a little bit of love. So if I could change one thing about Neeko and nothing else, without a doubt, 100%, it would be her hitbox size. As you can see, Neeko has the biggest hitbox in the game with a base of 80, which is on the same level as most of the tanks in the game. For God's sakes, Galio, who is the size of a mountain in that League of Legends video, has a hitbox smaller than our cute beloved tomato Neeko. Now, Neeko's hitbox doesn't change sizes when she uses it, so she doesn't get smaller when she goes into a small champ or bigger when she goes into a big champ. This makes me believe that Riot gave her a big hitbox because she didn't want her to be turned into a tank and have a misleading hitbox. But isn't it misleading when she turns into a small champion and sells a bigger hitbox? Or what if you have a 6-stack Cho'Gath and your hitbox isn't as big when you're the size of a turret? Simply put, this is just lazy coding and bad character design. Being low range, squishy, and needing to run it into melee range of a fight are all reasons why Neeko needs to have a small hitbox. If you have low range and a big hitbox, well, you get easily picked out and can't function into a team fight because you're too low. Or on the flip side, if you need to engage and you try to run in and get hit by a hook that doesn't even look like it hit you on your model, you're gonna instantly die, making it hard for Neeko to actually function. I personally think Neeko should have a smaller hitbox and be more of a elusive champion, weaving and dodging stuff, but with her current hitbox, it's very hard to actually do that. This brings me to my next point, which is that I actually think Neeko does more than enough damage currently. She has insane base damage with even better ratios, so I think the solution is, rather than doing more damage, we should give her more survivability. So currently how it feels is everyone one-shots me and I cannot one-shot them back, while they also have multiple dashes. Yone. Yes, I'm very subtle, right? Sorry about that. I think I'm funny. Anyways, it makes me think Neeko just needs a bit more survivability. Considering most mages stand at max range and get multiple rotations of their combos off, compared to Neeko hits one combo and then dies before she can get a second rotation off, I'm not exaggerating either. Look at League of Graphs. Neeko's KDA was 6, 7, and 8 average because every time she goes into a fight, she'll get a kill, assist, and die. I'm not kidding. Most fights I'll run in, alt, root, Q, Zhonya's, and I pray when I get out of my Zhonya's, I'm going to live long enough to get a second rotation off. So how do we give Neeko more survivability out of maybe a smaller hitbox? I'm not an expert in balance, and I'm not claiming to be, but maybe if we could make her a bit tankier with some better HP, scaling, armor, magic resist, something like that, maybe we could make her just a bit tankier where she can survive long enough out of the Zhonya's to get one more rotation before she dies off and not feel like she's a one rotation and done champion. Something else that could artificially boost Neeko's tankiness is maybe make her ulti shield activate at the start of cast rather than end. So right now, she ultis and she doesn't get the shield until she jumps in the air. The problem is at this point, most people who are in it are either trying to run out and not hitting you, or they're getting stunned. And during the duration of your shield, they're stunned or they're zoned, meaning that a lot of the time, your shield doesn't even get completely used because people aren't hitting you when it's there. If they gave her the shield at the start, rather than the end, it means that she would actually be able to have the shield block damage, helping her hit her ulti, and also making her artificially tankier than she is right now. Now, I will admit, there is one problem to the shield solution, and I would not do it if Riot won't put in the work to do this part. When Neeko has her passive up, it hides her ulti cast, so she can cast ulti and flash on the enemy and surprise them because they won't know she was casting. Well, if all of a sudden Neeko got a shield at the start of her instant cast, the enemy's going to instantly know that's Neeko, and they're going to be able to dodge her ult, and it'll basically indirectly nerf her. So don't do it without this part. I would propose that the passive hides Neeko's shield, so that the enemy doesn't suddenly see in the flank a shield Nidalee coming and go, oh, that's definitely Neeko casting ult. I also think, on a side note, it would be really cool if the shield underneath the passive would stop the passive from breaking until the shield was gone, and add some kind of cool synergy with your kit where you can put your passive up, ulti, the enemy can hit you with a spell, and if it doesn't break the shield, they won't see you casting ult. Now, that part might have been a bit OP, but it would be cool and fun, you have to admit. Anyways, my final note, because I don't want this video to go on too long, is that Neeko's passive needs a couple of changes to it, because I think something everyone can admit, other than using it to hide Neeko's ulti and some cheesy plays that won't work if players are using their brain, it doesn't really do that much. So I think I would actually, on that being said, I like Neeko's passive, and what I'm proposing wouldn't actually change it. I just think it needs a little bit of fine tuning. So first of all, Neeko's spell cast with passive up, break the passive and put it on a full 20-second cooldown, making it so that if you want to put the passive up and try to root an enemy, you lose your passive and now you can't ulti anytime in the next 20 seconds. I would make it if Neeko breaks her own passive by using a spell, it doesn't go on CD, so she can put it up again, maybe a 3-second CD or something small, so she can use it again. Now, on another note, maybe 20-second cooldown on her passive is just too long. For a champion who you want to be using her passive all the time to trick the enemy, to have it just go on cooldown for 20 seconds and not be able to ulti, it just feels really bad. I won't even kid that at my level of Neeko gameplay, when my team's grouping up before a fight, I should be pretending to be an ADC so it looks like we have two ADCs and they don't know which one to engage on, but I don't do that because I'm scared that something like a Luden's proc will break my passive and I won't be able to ulti without the enemy seeing it, leading to me not even using Neeko's passive before team fights. If it was on a lower cooldown, maybe I wouldn't feel as bad as wasting Neeko's passive because it wouldn't go on such a long cooldown. I don't want to ramble on too long, but I definitely think her passive cooldown's too long and it probably shouldn't be broken by her own spells. Finally, the last thing that they could change to the passive is maybe it shouldn't break from all conditions. Like Zoe Bubble, it doesn't break from damage over time like Morgana W, Misfortune E, Alt, and stuff like that. Maybe Neeko's passive shouldn't either. It feels really bad when you're max range getting it broken by Morgana W's or Misfortune E's. Also, maybe it should have a damage threshold. After a certain amount of damage it breaks, but before that it doesn't. So things like Janna auto don't break it, but an ADC auto does. I don't know, it's just ideas. I think her passive it feels really good, fun, and rewarding, and it's one of the best parts of her kit, but it just needs a little bit of love. So anyways, obviously if Riot changed everything I said in this video, Neeko would be brokenly OP. So I'm not saying they should do that. This is just my opinions on a bunch of ideas, and if they took one or two of my ideas, it could put Neeko in a much better, more viable position. A bigger hitbox or smaller hitbox, more tankiness, adjust how her shield on her ulti works, and buff her passive. Any one of these things could really just help push Neeko back into a position where she can actually function in the meta where everyone has a million dashes, defensive items, and can one-shot her. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, help me out by liking it, and I would love to hear if you guys have any ideas that I didn't list here, because these were just my personal ideas. I'm sure you guys have better ideas than me, and who knows, maybe Riot will see this video and maybe they'll see your comments. So leave your ideas in the comment, and yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate you. Peace out till next time.